Well, I was born in a world of light. I always did what was right. But now I sing a different song. I found the joy of doing wrong. But now I sing a different song. I found a friend in St. Bren. We're taking your fucking boat, sailor boy. Oh, Mike, my Massachusetts connection. Let me fix this lighting here. Get a little too high up on the comb over there. I hope you don't rename your video, dude, because I'm going to make this response MOV450. I always like it before you take the time to put a proper title on there, because it's like roll the dice, you don't know what you're going to get. It's very exciting for me because I trust your video content. And, you know, even the videos that I don't watch of yours are like the ones that you do, like the one that you made about the knife, your Kershaw. I didn't watch that for like 4 days. I wasn't really. Now, if you had titled that knife video like MOV400, I would have fucking watched it. But you titled it knife video for text. I didn't. Sort of ironic. But, you know, like I was gonna try to say there, I trust your content. So if you made a video titled Ringo Starr farts on a snare drum, I'd watch it. Now, this whole community communism thing, where you're talking about your boat and what it would take to get the boat and how much you value your boat, man, we're treading on dangerous waters there, buddy, because what ends up happening when the discussion goes down those roads, we end up devolving into a discussion of chest thumping. You know, my gun's bigger than yours, my skills are harder than yours, and, you know, you're going to have to kill me to do this, and well, I'll kill you to do that. And next thing you know, instead of learning from each other, we end up just, you know, checking our penis sizes. And the biggest problem you're going to run into with that is mine's the biggest one, so what are you going to do? By the way, a terms of use violation on YouTube only lasts for 6 months, and then it comes back off. It's not like the copyright one, so I'll win that contest every time. This whole thing with the community and communism, frankly, I think just like Urban Combat Survivor suspects, we're getting too far ahead on this whole thing, because you're talking about such a massive disaster that the infrastructure of a larger city would be taken out. And it doesn't matter which larger city you're talking about, be it New York, Boston, whatever, you have over 1 million people. And this location's population ends up not being self-sustainable. The food supply is nowhere near it. It has to be imported from so far away, and the water supply is not sustainable. Los Angeles, for example, gets its water from very, very far away, and it uses a massive amount of water. And by the laws of threes, you go 3 days without water, that's game over, man, every time. So we're getting real far ahead with establishment of a state. And the problem we get into when discussing things so far ahead, we quickly devolve into a concept of, well, do you have respect for my ideas, my thoughts, and so on and so forth? And when a person is just riffing, voicing ideas, it can end up getting personal. I mean, we've got a real good group, but you don't really know, and I'd hate to have us miss out on an opportunity to learn. But now let's go ahead and I want to round this out from my perspective. I believe in liberty, individual liberty at all costs, and I cannot think of a single social situation that's good for the group, yet the individual doesn't suffer for it. Every time. Ayn Rand's Fountainhead, George Orwell's 1984, you know, an individual who would bring 10 times more value to society if he were left free is somehow backed into a corner for the good of the group. Well, what's good for the group if each individual can't be as strong as they possibly can? But let me give you a circumstance that me, as a liberty-loving person and a champion of liberty, would have to, why we would have to take your boat. And this is an example, and it isn't just to provide food for the community. Let's say it's for the common defense of that community. And it comes down to it, and you just don't want to give it up, and you don't want your vessel utilized for a military purpose. You know, you don't see a reason to reestablish a navy to defend the community which you're part of. Well, then if I am, say, a security person, I got to weigh the option of, okay, we don't establish this navy and we lose 20 people, or we do establish this navy and all I got to do is lose one person. Guess what, man? When it comes to the state, it's law of numbers. And it's hard to shut off. And it's a nasty business, isn't it? It's a nasty-ass business. But, I mean, that brings us to the idea of the state. Somewhere along the way, we have lost touch with the civics classes of old that they used to teach in public school that you and Urban Combat Survivor hate so much. Public education. You guys must have had a hard time in school, huh? I was a late bloomer too. It probably wasn't until like my junior and senior year where I finally, got into sports, got a little bit fit, everything. But that's not important. What is important is we used to have this civics class where they'd teach us the whys and what fors of a free society, and learn us the perils of communism. And I think a real quick thing that we need to keep in mind has to do with the fundamental lesson against communism or socialism. Frankly, commune versus social, I know you guys got into the whole definition of it. The semantics of it for me are essentially the same. Group good over that of an individual good. Once again, makes no sense to me. So here's the scenario. 2 farms. A group of farmers, equal number of farmers on both sides of the road. One group of farmer pays a certain amount for seeds, same payment. The other group, okay, so you have two farmers. Both have expended a certain amount of money in seeds, time and labor. They plant their crops. The rain rains on one side of the road, the rain rains on the other side of the road. Both crops have the equal potential to grow. One side grows, the other side does not. Reasons for the side not growing, I don't know, natural, maybe got eaten by bugs, whatever. So the one farmer gets a 2-to-1 return on his seeds, whereas the other farmer gets nothing, loses money on the seeds. Okay, now the one farmer who got 2-to-1 on his seeds can plant twice as many seeds the next season and go on and be able to succeed and work that much harder, hire more hands, so on and so forth. The other farmer's just out of business, man. In communism, both of those farmers get the same amount of money. Human nature, man. Path of least resistance. And it's natural. It's natural for us. It's natural for any animal. A deer snare. When you put a deer snare up, the way you rig it is on the path of least resistance in the woods. Same thing with human nature. The second that farmer gets paid for nothing is the second that the system begins to deteriorate. The guy who was a success resents the other person not having to work. The guy who got compensated for nothing believes that compensation is received for nothing. There needs to be an association of toil to pay off. And that's just how we're built. I mean, we're born, we live, we work, we eat, we die. It's the brass tacks of it, gentlemen. So don't be a commie, all right? We'll see y'all soon.